rebels are Republicans now. They're like, you want to be a rebel, you want to be punk rock, you want to like the system, you're a conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online. They're talking about regulating free speech and they're regulating the First Amendment. It's bananas to watch.
Joe, they come after their political opponent.
You see, Joe Rogan is not a doctrinaire conservative. Nor is Donald Trump, by the way. And here's my rule about where MAGA stands. If you love truth, you're going to be brought to voting for Donald Trump. That's where I'm at. Next hour, we have Danica Patrick. If you love the truth, it will eventually lead you towards casting a ballot for President Donald Trump. If you are willing to challenge built-in orthodoxies, if you're willing to think for yourself and think freely, eventually that will lead you to the inevitable conclusion, this guy's got to be president. I want to play another piece of tape here. Let's go here. Actually, I think did we play all the Rogan stuff? There was one more. This is a good one here. Play cut 20.
But what they've done is they've made these cops feel terrible. They're like good cops. I think cops are just like everybody else. Most of them are great. It's like everybody else. But if you run into one carpenter and he does a job in your house, you say carpenters suck. But they don't suck. Most of them are great, and that's the key thing with cops. But the point is, like, they did all of these things in this very foolish way, and these cops are suffering the consequences of it. And so subsequently what happens is a lot of crime is unreported. A lot of crime, like, you call the cops, they're too busy, they can't even get to you. Oh, your house got broken into? Sorry. You know, it doesn't even make a report. There's a lot of people that they just give up.
Blake, it feels as if Donald Trump has full spectrum media coverage, below the surface with Joe Rogan and above the surface with Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, he's always had that talent, self-promotion in the truest sense of being able to dominate people's headspace, being able to dominate the conversation. He is, you could say, the most viral person to ever live. He's also, like, as we said, the funniest person to ever live. He is just... The energy that he's able to bring in compared to Kamala is very high. Now, that doesn't guarantee we'll win. We had this vibe the same in 2016. We did win, but it was very close. And you had the vibe in 2020, too. I remember that. You remember those discussions where it's, oh, Trump is still having rallies that a ton of people go to. No one's going to a Biden rally, and if you go, you have to stand 6 feet apart from everyone. There's no way that this could even be close. And so, whatever you think about 2020, it was close either way. And this election will be close, too. And so to circle back to the start of the hour, the way you make all of this worth it is you go hard all the way to the end, and you make it so this is the preface to a big win on election night instead of, oh, man, how did we drop that? How did we deflect the ball into Kamala's hands right at the end?
And that's that you got to play all the way through to the whistle. And so what you saw this last weekend was a remarkable start to the end. A start to the end of this season. You have Donald Trump. Right now, that Rogan thing is just going to keep growing. That's the thing about podcasting is as people talk about it, it just keeps growing. Madison Square Garden. And Donald Trump is now starting an ambitious end to the, I hope, his final campaign. Isn't that amazing to say, Blake? The last of Trump's campaign?
The last one.
You have I hope all of you said that.
Other than maybe him, doing this genial Trump going into retirement rallies for JD in 2028. But.
Oh, I mean, there will be a fair amount of those. But this is the last of him on the ballot. It's been 9 years of this.
9 years. It's crazy. Like, more than a quarter of my life has been the Donald Trump experience. About a third of my, conscious
And if he
life.
becomes president, we got another 4 years of it, too.
Oh, man. It's crazy for me to imagine what life was like in early 2015 before Donald Trump just blew up everything that we thought the future of America was going to be.
And here we are. We got 1 week left, everybody. And for those of you guys that are Trump super fans, I hope you kind of that means something. Like Donald Trump's last visit as a candidate to Arizona is happening this Thursday with Tucker Carlson. Donald Trump's last visit to Nevada is happening this week. Last visit to New Mexico. Last visit to Virginia. As a candidate, everybody. And that should motivate you to go get people to go out and vote early. So email me your successful early voting stories, freedom@charliekirk.com, and find one more low propensity voter.